And we begin at 11 with your voice, your vote, and election night in Michigan. Voters went to the polls today to decide a number of races, and we're going to start in the 3rd Congressional District, key swing seat to control Congress. On the Republican side, you can see Paul Hudson, attorney versus businessman Michael Markey. Hudson has 52 to 48%, and that's with still 51%, a little more than half of the votes counted. On the Democratic side, first-term incumbent Hillary Scholten is projected to win the nomination against her challenger. And you can see the numbers there very handily, 89% to 11%. Let's go to the 4th Congressional District now, where incumbent Bill Huizenga is easily beating his challenger, Brandon Muir. Huizenga has 70% of the vote, and once again, this is still a lot of votes need to be counted, but this is a pretty fair indication of how the results are going to go in this. And then the primary for U.S. Senate, Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin, already the projected winner over Hill Harper, her challenger. And we want to go to the Republican side. Former Congressman Mike Rogers is also the projected winner in this primary. There we go. And you can see Justin Amash finished second with only 16% of the vote. Former Congressman Mike Rogers, once again, declared the Republican nominee for the November election. 13 on your side, political reporter Josh Albertus has been tracking all of these races for us all night tonight. He joins us now. And Josh, break down those numbers.
Well, Juliet, we'll start in the 3rd district. As you mentioned, this is a map of that district, parts of Kent, Ottawa, and Muskegon counties. Markey on the Republican side, Michael Markey embodying what his campaign was describing as a disruptor persona. He touts his support for former President Trump. In that case, you want to run up the numbers, the scores in a place like Ottawa County, especially ruby red, pretty populated county in the state, features a lot of more rural voters, and where the county's GOP executive committee endorsed him. Hudson has tried to be what his campaign has branded as a common sense Republican candidate for their current times, as they've described it. That could carry more appeal to perhaps some of those more Nikki Haley voters in places like Kent County and Grand Rapids that supported Nikki Haley just a little more earlier this year in the presidential primaries. So how did that actually play out? Much like we expected it to in those different counties, but the race still very tight between the two district-wide. Hudson pulling ahead farther in Kent County than Markey is pulling ahead in Ottawa County at last check. On the Democratic side, first-term incumbent Hillary Scholten facing primary challenger Salim Al-Shatel. Scholten now projected by the AP to win that race with a large majority of the vote in each of the 3 counties at this stage.
We feel really confident about the race that we've run, and I'm really looking forward to my 2nd term in Congress.
And in the 4th Congressional District, Brendan Muir hoping to oust incumbent Bill Huizenga for the nomination. Muir hailing from Ottawa County and securing its Republican Party Executive Committee's endorsement. But even there, Muir falling short at this point, and Huizenga leading by double digits district-wide. Now over to the Senate race, pretty predetermined based on polls going into tonight how that was expected to go. The AP now calling this race for former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers and current Democratic Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin to face off in November. So in many races here at 11 o'clock, things are already setting the stage for head-to-head matchups come November.
Josh, thank you. We'll be checking back with you later in the newscast. A big issue on the ballot in Kent County, an increase in the hotel tax. Right now, the votes are being counted. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Yes, 55%, no, 45%, and that's with just a little more than half of the votes counted. So we'll have to be watching this one throughout the night. 13 on your side's Nathan Lee joins us live from downtown with details. Nathan?
That's right, Juliet. Behind me here is the site for the Grand Rapids Amphitheater. That's one of those major developments proposed for the city of Grand Rapids. Now, those major projects like the soccer stadium, like the proposed aquarium, those all heavily rely on this hotel tax that was on the ballot today. I spoke with voters and proposal organizers on how they're feeling this election night.
It's really exciting to see the changes downtown.
Richard Strom knows a thing or two about Grand Rapids.
How long have you been in this area for?
My whole life.
He's grown up alongside the growing city.
It's been interesting and very dynamic changes in terms of young people moving back into Grand Rapids, diversification of the business. I tell everyone when I went to JC downtown, it was dead at night. And now it's just a hopping place down there.
Now, he says the future of Grand Rapids is in the voters' booth.
We've become more of a destination. I see it on national publications and things. So I I think we should take advantage of that.
And he's not alone.
I'm excited about what it could bring to the city.
On the ballot Tuesday, a proposal raising a hotel tax from 5 to 8% to fund major projects in the city of Grand Rapids, a tax Kent County residents would not pay.
I think you're always nervous when something's this important.
Grand Rapids Chamber's Vice President of Government Affairs, Joshua Lunger, says the ballot measure was the culmination of a year of planning.
Just hitting refresh, I've already tried like 15 times.
All put into a proposal he says will move the community forward.
What we have here is really a chance at $1 billion, $1.2 billion in new economic impact. We're talking about transformational investment in the near downtown, really kind of bringing the downtown closer together.
Not just for the city, but for those around it too.
It's a really responsible, very predictable source of revenue, and it's going to unlock tens of millions in private investment in addition to the public component of it.
Something he believes will define West Michigan in years to come.
It's really the next generation of where we want to go as a region.
Lunger spent his election night refreshing the screen.
People are attracted to come to Grand Rapids. I don't think this would be a deterrent.
But ultimately, it was up to the people to decide.
Find out as much information as you can and then vote on what that information is.
Now, we are waiting on those final numbers, but every voter that we spoke to outside of polling places in Grand Rapids said that they were in favor of the hotel tax. Live in Grand Rapids, Nathan Lee, 13 on your side.
Let's turn to Ottawa County now. A lot of the focus is on the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners tonight. The majority of the board is currently occupied by members of the ultra-conservative group known as Ottawa Impact. And that includes Chair Joe Moss, who is being challenged by Mark Northrup. He is the mayor of Hudsonville, and you can see not even half of the precincts are counted. Moss is leading 56 to 44%, but that's still not even half of the votes counted. 13 on your side's Julia Gorman is live outside the county administration building now with a look at this months-long controversy surrounding this board. Julia?
Juliet, good evening. And as you mentioned, right now on the Board of Commissioners here in Ottawa County, the majority is occupied by folks who identify as part of that Ottawa Impact group. That's 6 seats right now. Now, there were 11 seats up for grabs as a part of the primary today, and 9 of those seats had a candidate who is a part of Ottawa Impact. But each of those 9 folks a part of Ottawa Impact also had a Republican challenger. It was a busy afternoon at the polls in Ottawa County for the 2024 primary election.
There's no such thing as an unimportant election.
With many races on the ballot, one stands out due to its ongoing controversy in the community: the 11 seats up for a 4-year term on the County Board of Commissioners. Candidates a part of the ultra-conservative group Ottawa Impact were voted into a majority of the seats in the 2022 election. The group identifies as pro-parental rights, pro-childhood innocence, pro-life, and pro-America. We've told you for months about the ongoing disagreement in the community surrounding choices made by members of the board over the last 2 years. With 9 Ottawa Impact candidates on the ballot, each with a Republican opponent, I talked with County Clerk Justin Roebuck about whether such a one-sided primary like this is typical.
In a lot of communities across Michigan and really across the country, voters vote in areas that are heavily weighted toward one political party or another. Here in Ottawa County, we are a roughly 70% Republican community, right? And so a lot of times the biggest races are amongst Republican candidates vying in that primary election.
Talking with voters about the race outside a polling location in Allendale, opinions vary.
This is just another seat that I think is really important for me to weigh in on. And I really vote on the issues.
So I agree with most of what they stand for. And I think instead of trying to lump people up into certain groups, I think it's more important to consider that candidate as an individual.
I hope to familiarize myself more with it in the future, just so I can make more informed decisions and do what I can to make this place better.
Now, this isn't an all or nothing situation where all of the Ottawa Impact members or all of the opponents would be elected in or moving on to November, rather. We could see a mashup of people on sort of both from both different groups. So that's something we'll just have to wait and see as the results come in. Juliet, back to you.
All right, Julia, thank you for that live update. We want to get some insight now on the races that are drawing a lot of attention across West Michigan. Doug Copeman, a political science professor at Calvin University, joins us now. Doug, let's get back to that Ottawa County Board of Commissioners because it has sparked so much debate, controversy, and bringing voters out today. And, we just heard the clerk talk about how this primary is getting more interest in the actual general election.
Yeah, it's very much a general election earlier in the year because of how Republican most of Ottawa County is. And it looks like some Ottawa Impact people are winning and some are losing in the primary results so far. If you do look countywide, it looks like the sheriff and the treasurer, others countywide races that those opposed to Ottawa Impact are more organized and have slightly more votes, but you could very much have a mixed set of Ottawa Impact and organized Ottawa Republicans going to November and virtually assured of winning in their races because of how Republican the whole county is.
Yeah, let's go now back to Kent County and that hotel tax. And right now the vote is very close.
Yeah, the vote is close. It looks like it's gaining a little bit as different precincts come in. Probably the city comes in a little bit later than the suburban areas of the county. It's always tough to pass a tax levy or millage, even when the argument is other people are paying for it. People are skeptical of that language, but it's a close race. But it looks pretty good for the new tax.
Let's talk about the Senate seat now as well to replace Debbie Stabenow, the Democrat. No surprises here. Alyssa Slotkin and Mike Rogers.
No, not really any surprises. Maybe some of the opponents on the Republican side doing a little bit better than expected. Probably Dr. O'Donnell a little bit better than expected. But no, that was called very early, like an hour after the polls closed, and it will be Rogers versus Slotkin in a very good race.
And the same with our 3rd and 4th congressional districts, too. No surprises there tonight either.
Right. I mean, Bill Huizenga had a challenge from someone almost literally in his backyard in Ottawa County, but it looks like Bill is going to be nominated by the Republicans. It looks like Paul Hudson is ahead a little bit in the Republican primary in the 3rd district. We'll have to see how that goes as different vote totals come in. Markey's from Ottawa County and Grand Haven, and Hudson is winning a little bit in Kent County and also that little bit of Muskegon County that's in that district.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug Copeman, for your insight, Calvin University. Voters in Kent County also voted on a millage renewal for the Ready by 5 early childhood millage. This is a look at the results right now. Yes is passing pretty handily. That's with, again, just about half of the votes counted, but you can see it's a pretty wide margin. Supporters say the millage will generate about $8.8 million for early childhood development in Kent County in its first year passed. The renewal would be in place, though, for another 6 years and support community-based organizations that provide early childhood programs. And tonight we spoke to those hoping that millage renewal does pass.
We're excited about what the possibilities are for us in the next round of funding for kids. We've done some great work in the first 6 years. I think we've proven to the county and to the people and to parents that we're here and we're ready to serve them.
In 2022, Ready by 5 provided more than 12,000 children and expectant parents from every zip code in the county access to programs focused on healthy development, early learning, and family support. Also in Kent County tonight, the Kent District Library millage up for renewal. And once again, that is passing easily. Only about a third of the votes counted, but 68% to 32%. However, 7 out of the 60. Now, we were seeing a little more than that, about a third that are now counted. Now,